Bryce, it's an honor and privilege to speak with you. Welcome to Popternative.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
I'm really excited. Congratulations on a documentary, Pets on Disney Plus. It's interesting, right? Because whether it's a documentary or whether it's a feature film or TV, it all starts with an idea and a thought, right? And then it becomes something bigger. What was the kind of first idea or first story with a family and friend about a pet that kind of gave inspiration for this documentary, you being part of this documentary?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've always had pets. I've always loved pets. I've always been kind of in like my group of friends, like one of the more sort of like crazy pet people, for sure. And I started collecting a bunch of viral videos
Yeah.
of basically like pets and like pet bloopers and stuff. And I found myself when I was sort of like, if I was ever not feeling good or I just needed to sort of laugh, I would go to those videos and I would watch them. And when I was making a documentary called Dads in 2018,
Yep.
2019,
Mm-hmm.
I remember during that being like, oh, it'd be cool to include viral videos about dads. Like that would kind of make it feel really sort of like present and universal and sort of like the dog videos that I love to watch.
Absolutely.
And then when we were continuing on with dads, I was like, okay. We need to do this, but with pets.
Yeah.
Like it's but with pets. And so
Perfect.
that was sort of the genesis of the idea.
Absolutely. And, I'm excited to ask you this question because this, like, I do interviews, but like, I'm just really interested in like the interview process for the documentary because I feel like it's all in the edit, right? Where there's like long form answers, little clips here and there, but some of the interviews might have been longer. Some of them might have been like quick, rapid fire. Some might have been like a whole like story, basically. You know what I mean? So what was that like specifically, the interview process?
Yeah. Well, um, it was a very fun, very varied, very collaborative endeavor. So Elizabeth Jameson, someone named Elizabeth Jameson is the producer on this project and very much so was incredibly involved. Started off as a casting director in the doc space. I got to know her through some like shorter docs that I made and then dads. And she has 4 cats and is works a lot in the rescue space. And so when I was hoping to do pets, Elizabeth just started looking at, okay, who could we cast? And part of that process, you almost do like a pre-interview with everyone.
Yes.
But during the vetting process, I'm not involved physically in doing it. So it was Elizabeth doing all of that,
Yeah.
all of that. And we finally kind of narrowed in on the folks who we wanted to profile. And at that point, Elizabeth really had a strong rapport with everyone.
Yeah.
And so she interviewed all of the folks that we profiled, and I interviewed all of the kids. And so it was a very different dynamic. And what that allowed was it allowed me to, first of all, have a lot of perspective on each of the folks that we were profiling.
Absolutely.
Because because I wasn't in it.
Yeah.
And then with the kids and kind of specifically how that interviewing process goes, like I love an Interrotron. I love my subjects who I'm interviewing to be standing. I feel like you really like to get the full body. It's just you read humor in particular so much more when you're seeing the full body.
Totally.
And it's a lot of like you have the questions that you're going to ask everyone.
Absolutely.
You want kind of everyone to answer these 10 questions, like what's your favorite kind of pet, who's your first pet, what's the hardest thing about having a pet, et cetera, and then certain things I would know about the different kids, and then we would kind of go in and get really specific.
Absolutely. No,
yeah.
For sure. And, it's about pets, this documentary. So I did have to do this. We need to have a little guest on the show right now. But
my gosh,
this is Leo. Hey, buddy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Leo, this is Bryce.
Leo, you are so cute. It's insane. Wait, you said Leo was like 12? How old is
Yes.
Leo?
Yeah,
Doing so well.
I know. And then that's my next question while I hold them. I mean, when I was watching your documentary, I mean, we love our pets. Like he is like my brother. He is part of my family. How important was that to have that theme throughout the whole documentary remain? Because that's what I got from it. They're friends, but they're family members. He is my brother.
Yeah, yeah, and oh my gosh, I can barely concentrate. He's so cute. I
Yeah.
almost want to die. Like it's just insane. Um, yeah, they are. They are family members, and it has to do with, I think, the nature of the relationship, the depth of the relationship, and the specificity of the relationship.
Yeah.
They're completely reliant upon us.
Yeah.
We are their entire world.
Hmm.
They love us unconditionally.
Hmm.
We love them unconditionally. Oftentimes, because we have, as human beings, access to language, we'll think it's sort of like people's personality is like negotiable. Like you
Yeah.
can like talk to somebody, be like, babe, I don't like it when you do X, Y, or Z or whatever.
Absolutely.
And it really isn't, right? Nobody ever changes. And our pets, because we don't have that language, we accept them for who they are. They accept us for who we are.
Hmm.
Probably weirdest version of, because we're all weird around our pets.
Hmm.
And it's a really sort of, even though it's with pets, it feels, I feel so connected to my humanity
Yeah.
when I'm with my pets. Like I feel present, I feel alive, I
Yes.
feel,
They changed the moods too. Like I
oh,
am in a bad mood. I'm with Leo and it's done. Like I'm in a good mood.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they're magic. They're
Yes.
totally magic. They're little like feeling sorcerers.
Yes.
And I think that I think they're in part, I think that's intentional.
Yeah.
Like I have theories that at some point, like after I pass away and stuff like that, I'm gonna be like, can I just ask some questions? So it's actually like the animals who are like the wise ones, right? It's like the
Yes.
animals who are in charge and they have a bigger picture in mind, and they're like, okay, my human being is doing X, Y, or Z, and I need to support them here, 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 and here. Um, just the the profound healing and joy that you experience in that relationship is crazy. Something else that I learned, this could be maybe wrong, but that when you see, like when I saw Leo, like my instinct was to like smush Leo
I
because
know.
Leo is so cute. I just want to smush him
I'm
or
so
eat him or
glad you
something.
met. I'm so glad. Yeah, I'm so glad you were
I
introduced.
cutest. And I heard that like the part of your brain that lights up when you see someone like really, really, really cute is right next to the part of your brain that is the violence part of your brain.
Yep.
And so that's why when like you see something like so cute and you're just like, I just want to destroy it with my love.
I
Like it's
know.
just
It's great. And then, a couple quick questions for wrap up as well. I mean, does the mindset change from a kind of storytelling perspective, whether you're like directing like or like working in like a documentary versus like something that's like a feature film or TV, or is it all like storytelling at the end of the day?
great question. I mean, it's definitely it is good story well told at the
Yep.
end of the day. Um and it is for both, whether or not nonfiction or fiction,
Mhm.
it's uh casting is essential.
Yep.
Um, but I would say particularly in documentaries, because the casting is determining not just, you know, how entertaining something is, it's also determining what the actual narrative is going to be, what the plot is going to be.
Yeah.
And so for me, what's so cool, the folks often joke like you should never work with children or animals. And I'm like, yeah, but how about both at the same time, simultaneously?
Yeah.
And with a documentary, it's so different than a movie because you don't need them to do anything apart from just being themselves
Yeah. No,
and being
absolutely.
honest.
Yep.
And so it's the energy is very different.
Yes.
It's a lot more about discovery than it is about achievement.
Yep.
Whereas you're on a set, like when I'm on like Mandalorian or something like that, like it is, we all know what the mission is.
Yeah,
And
and it's
there
it's
is,
like, and the worlds are massive too, right? Like the worlds could be massive in a documentary, but a lot of it is like you're in a studio doing an interview.
yeah, yeah. And so it's really intimate. It's
Yes.
very, yeah,
Yeah.
completely. I mean,
And
the thing that's fun to me is that it's like thematically, even though it's the documentaries and the narrative stuff that I work on is very, very different. Thematically, I feel like they tie together.
absolutely.
But yeah, it's fun.
And then, I find it you have worked on a lot of projects and a lot of franchises that have had this like global kind of impact over time. And I was kind of wondering, when did you start really kind of realizing that and seeing the kind of global impact of some of these worlds that you've been a part of, like the Jurassic Park world, like with Jurassic World, and like with Spider-Man and like others? Like, when do you start really realizing it? Was it early on? Was it like while you were doing Jurassic World? Like, I'm just curious about that.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's really hard to have perspective. I definitely like even today I was like I'm, doing press for this and was kind of going around and stuff.
Mhm.
And I was getting dropped off and someone was like, "Oh, is it going to be okay for you to like walk through the front instead of dropping off behind?" I was like, "Yeah, no one recognizes me."
Yeah.
And like three people in the car like turned to me and they were like, "Bryce, what are you saying?" And I was like, "Yeah, I don't no one like recognizes
Oh
me.
my
I don't
God, it's the
feel
lady in the water. No, I'm kidding. Sorry.
I don't feel I don't feel that,
Mhm.
but I definitely the first kind of shift that I noticed was around Black Mirror.
Yep.
And I don't know if it was
Timely
because
answer with the new episodes out now too.
oh, right, right, right. Yeah. So it was definitely Black Mirror. Um the reach that Netflix
Oh yeah.
had, has, but had in 2016 um, was pretty significant.
Mhm.
And I noticed a, a big difference. And then, yeah, I mean, the thing that I really noticed with Jurassic, I mean, it happened today. It's just, I feel so, because I'm such a fan that like whenever I see anyone wearing like a Jurassic shirt or a Jurassic hat, like my instinct is to be like, yeah, you know what I mean? I don't associate it with myself. I like associate it with like Steven Spielberg and
Yeah.
Michael Crichton and like, the 1994 movie. And so it's I've noticed, like seeing the merch
Yeah.
that has to do with stories that I've been involved in. Or
Yep.
like there's a toy with Baby Yoda having to do with a moment that I just like came up with. Like
Yeah.
it's just that is surreal.
Yeah.
That is very, very real. So I think it's like seeing the toys,
Mhm.
seeing, people wearing the
The
merch.
merch. Yep. Absolutely.
You feel part of a community. It's almost like, oh, I like that team too.
Mhm.
You know?
Absolutely. And then the last question, we talked about it like early on too. I mean, I'm a big horror movie fan. I'm a filmmaker as well, working in that space right now. You've been part of horror movies, specifically with M. Night Shyamalan, with, Lady in the Water and The Village, and you worked in that space a lot of times. These are the biggest movies that come out now. And it's like the popularity is nonstop and the creativity is kind of nonstop, and there's different ways to scare people. Do you think about that at all? What is that like, kind of looking back and like looking at where the current state of horror is now compared to like when you were also working on it? Like, I'm just curious about that specifically.
Yeah. I mean, I think that I love I'm what I sort of am into is very much so like what M. Night Shyamalan does. Like I love like psychological thrillers. I love ghost stories. I like the supernatural. I love things that are spooky. Um, I don't know how much I can handle something that is genuinely like
Like
horrifying.
genuinely, like this could happen. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, or like Saw,
Yeah.
you know? Like Saw was like really big, around then, I feel
Yeah.
like, or
Mhm.
something. And that I would always kind of use that as a distinction where I was just like, I'm not, like I literally can't even process that level of like something being disturbing as opposed to, and this is not a put down at all.
I'm
like,
not
that
sure
is
if you could watch my short horror film that enjoyed it, but we had our
But,
premiere. We had our premiere in the fall at the Chinese theaters for Screamfest, and
how was it? How'd it go?
it was awesome. It was amazing. But again, it's messed up, and there's some scary things in it that, you know, based on what you said, like I'd love you to watch it, but I don't know if you can.
No, I'll would love to watch it. I would love to watch it. But it is like this is probably a very like overly simplistic way to articulate it, but like I like happy endings.
Mhm.
And uh and so it's specific. Like Get Out was my favorite movie. When did Get Out come out? 2017?
So good. Yeah.
That was like my favorite movie of that year.
Yep.
Like it's incredible.
Yeah.
And so sort of like the horror genre, the thriller genre, to me, what's so exciting about it is you can deal with so much.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much room to explore kind of anything. Like you were saying, like the creativity is extraordinary. And you know, as long as you deliver on making people feel scared,
Yep.
then you've done your job. Then you can kind of explore anything. And I remember when I was first sort of starting to work, even particularly in directing, there's a director named Ty West, who's really cool, really interesting, really brilliant horror filmmaker. And I remember sort of watching his early stuff and being like, oh my God, this is so cool. Like this is the highest art form and the most sort of like accessible form of entertainment in many ways.
Absolutely.
We like to be scared. If we don't, if there aren't monsters in our life, like we'll create monsters. And
Yeah.
so sometimes having these experiences, it like helps you work through things. But anyway, M. Night Shyamalan,
Yep.
he like the way he tells a story, the way his mind thinks, it's you know, the twists and turns, not having it be like just about a twist, like there's constant twists and turns.
Yep.
I just it's cool, and you don't, and if you're smart, you don't have to spend a lot of money doing it. Like
Nope. That's the yep. Yeah. You just like there's podcast series on that right now with filmmakers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's a great kind of entrance point
Absolutely.
into storytelling.
It is. Yeah. And like, you know, Hereditary, Nosferatu, these are horror movies that got nominated for Academy Awards this year too, which is insane.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And you know what else is incredible? Pets, your documentary that's going to be on Disney Plus. Bryce, it was an honor and privilege to speak with you. Thank you so much for your time, really.
Thank you. And thank you for checking out Pets. And I loved getting to meet Leo. Leo is like such a king.
Absolutely. Well, this has been Pop Nerd at youtube.com/Pop Nerd. Previous episodes until the last time. This is Bryce Dallas Howard and Petey Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.